What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Double Dribble, and welcome back to another episode of our 2022 NBA Draft Player Breakdown Series. In today's episode, we have a good one about a four-year college player. He might be one of the first four-year players to be drafted in this year's NBA Draft, and that is Ochai Agbaji. He's a 6'5", 215-pound shooting guard from Kansas. He played all 4 years and was a four-year starter for Kansas. Has had tremendous growth throughout his years with Kansas. In his senior year, he took on more of that go-to guy, kind of big man on campus role, where the first 3 years he was more of kind of just a role player or just kind of the secondary option. And as this last year, he averaged 18.8 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game, 1.6 assists, 0.9 steals, 0.6 blocks per game. He shot 47.5% from the field, 53.5% from two, and then 40.7% from three on 6.5 attempts per game. So let's go ahead and look at some of this four-year player strengths. So looking at one of the biggest strengths I think of Ochai Agbaji, and that a lot of people don't necessarily realize, is that although he is a four-year player in college, which isn't necessarily one of the top players that's going to get drafted in the NBA draft, or necessarily a player that teams are looking for, is that although he is a four-year player, he is continuing to develop, and he has shown that every single year he has gotten better, improved his numbers, and improved something in his game. And even in high school, he was a player that wasn't highly recruited when he was younger, and just continued to get better and better and better each year, and improving on his game, and ended up going to Kansas, being a starter right away his freshman year at Kansas. And has continued to improve every single season. I mean, he went from 8.5 points per game to 10 to 14 to now almost 19 points per game. His rebounds, he went 4.6 to 4.2 to then 5.1 his senior year. All his shooting percentages from three, he went from 30% to 34% to 38% to now almost 41%. I mean, every single year he's continued to develop and get better and improve his game tremendously. And I think that that's one of the biggest things of him, is that he's a player that I think will continue to develop at the NBA. He isn't necessarily fully NBA ready, as you'd expect a lot of four-year players to be. But I think that that's one of the biggest things for him. Just kind of looking at some of the strengths of his game. He has made some nice strides in operating using ball screens and just being a scorer at the college level. He was their main guy, one of the reasons why they won the national championship this year. He's shown the ability to not necessarily just be a three-point shooter, but also be able to put the ball on the floor and make the mid-range pull-up jump shots. He's extremely strong going to the rim. He's athletic, uses athletic ability well to finish at the rim. And just finish around contact or finish through contact. I mean, he's scored in double figures every single game this year, and has been just the go-to guy. And he was one of the main reasons why they won the championship this year. So he's a proven winner, a four-year starter, and one that's continuing to get better. And I think that he shows a lot of promise to be one of the premier kind of 3-and-D guys at the NBA level. He's got the shooting ability right now. He just needs to work a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball, but we'll get into that now. So look at some of the weaknesses of Ochai. I think that one of the biggest things with him is that he was kind of known to, or had the reputation of being a player that could be one of the premier 3-and-D guys at the NBA level. And he has continued to improve his three-point shot every single year, and has shot 40.7% from three this year on 6.5 attempts per game. His junior year, he shot 6.9 attempts per game and shot 38%. So he has shown that he can shoot the ball. But on the defensive side of the ball is where he hasn't necessarily shown that he can be that lockdown wing defender that people kind of thought he could be. He's got all the physical tools and the athleticism to be that type of player, but over his career he hasn't really shown that in terms of like forcing turnovers or getting deflections. He averages just under 1 steal per game and 0.4 blocks per game for his career. I mean, he has shown to be a strong on-ball defender, but he sometimes can get lazy. He doesn't get in the stance and can get blown by. He can be undisciplined and get back cut easy. He can get screened off really easy. He just hasn't shown that ability to be the lockdown defender that a lot of people have thought that he could be at that level. But he also hasn't shown that he is a bad defender by any means. He is a good on-ball defender. He can be a good weak side defender, but people just haven't. He hasn't shown that lockdown defender type of play that people thought he could show. Along with that, he hasn't been much of a playmaker and won't be, I don't think, at the NBA level. In college, he averaged just 1.6 assists per game to 1.6 turnovers per game for his career. Here in his senior year, he averaged 1.6 assists to 2.1 turnovers per game. So he averaged more turnovers per game than he did assists, and that's not necessarily something you want to see. But like I said, I don't think he will be that type of player at the NBA level. He'd be more of a 3-and-D guy. He has shown that he can shoot the 3-ball, and I think now he just needs to really focus on the defense side of the ball, and that's how he can earn his minutes and earn his playing time, at the NBA level. So in conclusion, Ochai is someone that is projected to be kind of a middle to maybe late first-round pick in this year's NBA draft. I think that's a good spot for him. I think that it kind of hinders him that he is a 4-year player, but he also improved his draft stock tremendously from his junior year to now his senior year. He was probably going to be a late second-round pick last year, whereas now he will be a first-round pick this year and probably middle of the first round. So he has improved his draft stock. And I think he's someone that is continuing to get better every single year. Even though he is a 4-year player, I think he has potential and a lot of, not necessarily a lot of upside, but has upside at the NBA level. I don't think he's one of those players that's just 100% NBA ready, and what he is coming in the NBA is what he's kind of going to be. I think he's got upside in even shooting the ball even better, shooting it more consistently. I think he's got the ability to really focus on the defensive end and be that lockdown wing defender. And I think that he could be someone kind of the like of Mikal Bridges, someone that's a premier wing defender and also can shoot the ball well from 3-point range, put the ball on the floor and make mid-range pull-ups, get to the rim a little bit, but not necessarily be that star offensive player. So I want to hear all your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think he should be drafted higher in the first round, late first round? Leave all that down below. As always, make sure you hit the like button of this video, hit the subscribe button, join the channel, share this video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.